can't have enough farming games, and seems like you guys love them just as much as I do. In episode 3 of the only farming games guide that you need here on YouTube, I have a new guest for you, and I know that you guys love him a lot, and I'm a big fan of his channel. I've been watching him for a long time, even before I started my own channel. He loves Nintendo, he loves farming games, he loves cozy games, he also loves his snapback cap, and he might be found in some sticky situations with some of the romanceable NPCs on Moonstone Island. If you don't know who I'm talking about, it's Pat or Patrick from Nintendo Talk. I'm so excited to have him here with me.
Hello everyone, my name is Patrick from the channel Nintendo Talk. Shout out to Ms. Bubbles for having me on in this collaboration video. Big fan of your channel, so let's get to the games.
I know that he has a lot to say about farming games. We have the second part on his channel, which I'm gonna pin for you in the comments, where we go over our favorite farming game hybrids. So make sure to give him some love and watch it after this video. Hello, you gorgeous human being. It's Miss Bubbles. If you're new here, if you're here from Pat's channel, or you just found this through YouTube search engine, you just found the best channel for everything cozy games, RPGs, and farming games. So make sure to squish that subscribe button because I don't want you to miss out on future videos. So let's hear from Pat.
So farming games with a twist. Let's start off with an absolute classic. I actually have the special edition right here. This is sealed just because I have this game also digitally. This one's a good one. My first pick is going to be Story of Seasons: A Wonderful Life. Now, before I get too much into this game, you need to know that this is actually a remake of Harvest Moon: A Wonderful Life on the GameCube. And I think that's important to know because at its core, this game I think is going to have a bigger impact if you played that older game. Because admittingly, compared to a lot of modern farming games, this one is a little bit light on content, and I actually even think that Miss Bubbles is a hater of this game, but that's besides the point. Here's why I love it. First of all, I would consider this a beginner farming game, just because it doesn't have as much going on as the typical modern farming game, like I said before. The cool thing about this game is that it plays out in chapters. So once you finish a year of 4 seasons, your character actually grows up, and not only does your character change, but some of the characters in the town can go away, new characters can be added, and I really love that mechanic, and I wish more farming games would take on that. It just makes the world feel a little bit more lived in, right? I know one of the characters actually passes away, and then, a new family moves into the town. It's also cool too, because you'll be doing a lot of gifting to the NPCs. And, there's a little boy in the town, and he's like really little when you first meet him in year 1. And he loves milk. You can gift him milk. But as he grows older, he kind of like grows out of that. So not only do the characters look different, not only are there more characters, but their likes and dislikes change, which I think is also really cool. Another big emphasis in this game is marriage and relationships. And like I said, this game plays out in chapters, so you will constantly get different events with your partner, including having a kid and even growing old with your significant other, which I think is cool. So yeah, this one's definitely chill, and if you are looking for a nice intro into farming games, this would be my pick. Very beginner friendly. Just know that there's not too much content in this one. It's pretty bare bones, but I think it's super cozy and a pretty good farming game.
Hearing about Story of Seasons: A Wonderful Life, I feel like my channel became famous for the Story of Seasons: A Wonderful Life hater. I just don't like it. I have a full in-depth review about my experience with the game and why I don't like it. And recently, the more that I'm getting to know other content creator friends, they've been sharing different aspects. Like some love it, some hate it as much as I do. So I don't feel as lonely anymore. And recently, a lot of you as well have said that you don't like it either. But as always, I really wanted to see what Pat's look is about Story of Seasons: A Wonderful Life and why he personally enjoys it. So this would help you maybe pick the game, because you might have seen my review before and thought, oh, I don't like it, but now you heard him explain it, you're like, you know what, I think I like this game, like I want to try it. So this is like literally what this video is about. So hopefully our two very different tastes are gonna help you with your next farming game purchase. As to my pick, and one that I really enjoy, I played it in early access, and it's, I think, the very first early access review that I put out. It's a game that it was very relevant at the time of the early access and full release, but recently we don't see many people talk about it, and it's Sunhaven. This is an amazing farming game that I feel, yeah, it just lost its relevance. I think it got a big update recently, if I'm not mistaken, and we're still waiting on that Switch port, but this is perfect for those of you who love a fantasy setting with angels, dragons, demons, and magic. The NPCs are plenty. You have over 30,000 lines of dialogue, which will keep the conversations interesting and different. You have 23 characters to romance, and the world is full of riddles, mysteries, and secrets with so much lore to get into. And the best part about this game is that you don't have to worry about a stamina bar, which is found in many other farming games. And I think this was the right choice that the devs took, because with a game that has so many content, so much things to do, worrying about the time is already enough. You don't want to be worrying about a stamina meter as well. I really like how customizable the game is. You can change the length of the day, you can toggle on and off a wide range of settings like seasons, pets, damage from enemies, weather effects, and more, so you make the gameplay suitable to you. And in terms of farming, you get 3 lands to work with, each in a different area, meaning you can get different types of crops and fruit trees and all of these stuff that you can harvest. And then you have a plethora of animals to raise. They all look very cute, and they extend from your normal chickens and cows that you have in other games. You can raise things like silk moths and werewolves and baby griffins, to name a few. Keep in mind though, this is a game that I would say is more catered towards intermediate and advanced farming games lovers, and this is because you have a sheer amount of content to do. From the farming to the crops, the animals, the blueprints, and the things that you can craft, I think it will be very overwhelming for a complete beginner to get into this game as their starter farming game. And you can play this with your friends if you want to. I think that Sunhaven is a must-play farming game. Now let's go to Pat.
All right, continuing to do a little show and tell. This game is up next, and I do have this one physically as well. The last game I don't, but let's get to this one. The next game I wanted to talk about is Rune Factory 3 Special, which is another remake of an older game. Kind of a theme here. So this is a remake of a DS game, I believe, Rune Factory 3, and this is actually one that I'm currently playing and have been really enjoying. There are good things about it, there are bad things about it, but I think this is so enjoyable for me because not only is it a farming game, but there's a lot of emphasis on battling. So if you like combat games, if you like dungeon crawlers, this could appeal to you too. Now, Rune Factory 3 Special is unique in the sense that you can't really customize your character. You have to play as this male character. But to make up for that, I think there's something like 12 or I think there's like a dozen marriage candidates, which is pretty cool. I mean, you're spoiled for choice in this game. There is a lot of different elements like ranching, farming, like I said before, combat. There are like 4 major dungeons that you can go to, and there are boss battles to go along with that. And I feel like this game is just very, very solid. And unlike Story of Seasons: A Wonderful Life, I feel like this game has aged pretty well, where there's a lot of systems, there's always something to do. Another thing I really love about this game is most farming games usually have about 1 major event per season, but in Rune Factory 3 Special, there are actually a bunch of events throughout each of the seasons, and I love holiday events and different town events in these types of games. So, for example, in spring, there is a bean toss in the beginning, where you're like trying to get hit by beans that other townsfolk throw. Then there's a fishing tournament, and then there's also a spring festival, and that's just 1 season. Plus you have birthdays and you have to gift villagers, so this one has me hooked just because there's always so much to do. There's, you know, you can like raise animals and get those products and craft other products. This one's definitely a good one if you're looking for, I would say, an intermediate to advanced, because there are some deeper systems like upgrading your weapons and things like that. Rune Factory 3 Special, it's a pretty good choice, and I'm having a lot of fun with it.
This next pick is one that I'm also very attached to because I've played it extensively in early access, but I also love that the developers of it would hold these Twitch streams where they would work on the game and show us the progress that they've been making. So I don't find this game mentioned in a lot of videos, but I make sure to include it in every list that I make. And I'm talking about Garden Paws. In this one, you can play as a cute cat or a dog or dragon, a bear, and more. And basically you inherit your grandparents' farm. And the gimmick here is that not only are you taking care of the farm, but you also have a shop that you're gonna run, and you're gonna use whatever you farm on your ranch to actually sell in the shop and make coin. But not only that, you can still cook, craft, mine, and, you know, do everything that is known in other farming games. And apart from that, you have over 700 quests to enjoy where you help out NPCs on the island, as you also work on getting better facilities on your farm. You can also raise animals and get produce from them. And the world is really big. It's really fun to traverse. You can get a glider and just glide your way through. And I also really enjoy the festivals here because there's just so much love and attention poured into them. You have so many different prizes to win as well, which are always fun to explore for the first time, second time, and even third time. The game is also known for the sheer amount of customization options available, both in terms of character creation and customization, but also the furniture and home design. So if you're a creative and you love creative freedom, this is definitely for you. You have so many dice to use as well, so literally like anything is possible here. And if you like combat and you're okay with it, there is some dungeon crawling elements in here. You can play with up to 32 friends, making the game interactive and fun with friends. Garden Paws did release on the Nintendo Switch, and I have a review for it as well if you want to learn more about it. But with the Switch port, it was a complete mess, and the last time that I checked, which was 2 years ago, it gave me a very bad migraine, so it made me really hesitant and scared to try it out. I do know that a few updates came afterwards, but I'm just so scared to try it. So if you played it on the Nintendo Switch and there is no lag, definitely let us know in the comments. But other than that, I think if you have a PC, I don't know how it is on Steam Deck, but if you have a PC, this game, you have to try it. You have to play it.
All right, this one is not a remake, I promise. This game is called Harvestella, and it is made by Square Enix. And we know their resume. We know they make some great games, but they kind of tried their hand at sort of a cozy farming game. This one definitely has emphasis on dungeon crawling and, you know, RPG mechanics, which I think is a good thing. I would consider this game more of an RPG than a farming game. And if you are a fan of Square, you know their level of quality, and you know, they make awesome games. They make good games. And this game, compared to a lot of Square Enix games, has a killer soundtrack, one of the best that I've seen from their games. But Harvestella is essentially that. It's essentially a dungeon crawler mixed with light farming elements. You can do things like farm and fish, but you're going to be spending most of the time battling and following this really addicting story. And honestly, this was the reason that kept me going. I know not a lot of people like story-heavy games with a ton of dialogue. My one gripe with this game is that the story is like the lead star here, right? But there's no voice acting. So it's kind of weird just like reading text. I think you do get used to it, but the main thing here for you, if you're interested in this, is the gameplay. And the gameplay is king here. I like the farming, although I don't think it's the strongest I've ever experienced. The combat is really cool, and I like the difficulty level. I like the different dungeons and seeing the little mini bosses and things like that. If you are into the JRPGs and the RPGs of the world, and you want little distractions like cooking, crafting, farming, this could be the one for you. You can't customize your character though. I think that's one of definitely the downsides of this game. But if you're looking for a farming game with a twist, this one could be right up your alley.
Now, if you watched my farming games I regret buying / playing, then you know that Arfistella was one of the games on there. I will pin it for you in the comment section if you want a more in-depth look as to why I didn't like it. At the end of the day, I get really happy seeing other people enjoy games that I personally don't like, and that's why I really believe that games are so unique to us. What would be amazing for me might not be amazing for you, but that also comes with the history that you've had with games and what you're looking for in a game, or sometimes it's the season that you played a certain game in. So it's really bubbly awesome to see that Patrick loves a game that I personally did not enjoy. Let us know your favorite farming game down below. This is an ongoing series. We have plenty of new guests that I want you to meet. The second part is live right now, so you can watch it on Nintendo Talks channel. I'm gonna pin it for you in the comment section. Make sure to give Pat some love. Pat, thank you so much for joining me today. This was really fun, and I'm hoping to make more collabs with you in the future. Thank you so much to my YouTube and Bubbly patrons for making videos like this possible. A lot of you have joined us recently and you became members, so you have access to a lot of perks like badges and emotes and a lot of backlogged posts from the past. So I hope that you're enjoying those, and I can't wait to see you in the next stream. And a massive shout out goes to the Game Dimension, Jake Logan, and Stephanie for going the extra mile. Until next time, stay bubbly.